Hello and welcome back to this channel. So today's video is not going to be a tutorial, maybe a little bit of tutorial because I'm going to teach you how to draw the snail, by the way, but it's going to be about the new features, that is July 2021 features of Adobe Fresco. So if you haven't updated your Fresco yet, go ahead and update it. In this update, Fresco also released some features to Windows which wasn't available until now. I think it's mainly about brushes and shapes. So I'll be covering that by end of this video as well. So let's begin this video by trying to draw this snail. By the way, if you want to skip this whole drawing part and just directly go to the new features, I put all the timestamps in the description box below. You can just go and check that out. Okay, so let's get started, I guess. I'm going to click on custom size and I will go to digital and click on square. I'll bring in the color palette. So go to your photos. You can find the color palette in the description box below in case you want to download it. I will increase the size a little bit by holding these corners. Click on done once done. And now click and hold to select that color. And you can see this icon pop up and just make a mark on your artboard. Doesn't matter which brush you're on. Let's do that for all the colors. Once you have all the colors picked, click on this I button to hide that layer. And by the way, when I say all the colors are picked, if you click on your color palette and if you go into recents, you will see all your colors. Okay, so let's just get started. I'm going to go into my vector brushes and click on the basic round. I need to select black, so I'm going to go into here and click on this black color. So now we have black, and about size, it's set to 43. You can just click on this and increase the size to however you want. And I'm just going to keep it at around 40s. By the way, if you click and hold, you'll get this keypad, so you can type in any color that you want. Okay, and smoothing is set to about 50, and you can actually increase it. Let me put it at about 70s, something like that. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click on new layer because I have all these dots on this layer and I don't want it to, carry forward or whatever. Or you can also click on clear layer and everything goes away. Okay, so let's draw the snail. So it's going to be super simple. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a spiral like this and make it like that. That looks good. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and like this and maybe join these two parts here. Okay, our snail is ready, and give it an eye. Okay, so our snail is ready, but I'm going to go in and put in a lot more elements to it because I want to show you what all tools we have. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this to about 20 and I'm going to go ahead and make some leaves like that. Okay, that looks good. Now I'll go to my fill tool and we're going to select colors and kind of color in, I guess. So let me go ahead and color the snail first. I'm going to use this brown and color it in brown. Let's go ahead and use this blue and color this blue. And for all the leaves, you're going to use different colors. Okay, like let me choose this green. Okay, we have all the colors ready now, and now it's time to add some more elements because I want some overlapping elements, and I'll show you why later. So I have this blue color and I'm happy with that. I'll go back to my vector brush now and click on a new layer, and we'll go ahead and make a leaf over here. Oops, go to your vector brush and draw it out like this. Use your fill tool now and make sure you join these edges, otherwise your fill tool won't work. Okay, so everything is ready. Oops, background. So I'm going to go back to this snail layer, click on a fill tool, go to this bright yellow and color this bright so that everything looks neat and bright. Okay, I'll make the small snail a little smaller. Going to go into the lasso tool. I'm just going to go ahead and select the snail. Be careful that you don't select anything else. It's perfect. Use your transform tool and make this smaller. And obviously there's going to be a white gap. Once you click on done, deselect. Now use your fill tool and just fill it in, and that looks good. Let's go ahead and explore the new tools now. So starting off, once you update your Fresco, you should immediately see some new things on your Fresco app. That is, one is this grid over here, and another one, this is this icon over here, which we'll come back to later. So now that we are done with the artwork, it's time to explore the different options that we have in Adobe Fresco. So let's go ahead and click on the first thing that you see, that's a grid option. So I'm not a person who uses grid mostly, so yeah, this is not really exciting for me, but I know a lot of you guys do. So let's just go ahead and check that out. So let's go ahead and check the first thing that is snapping and rotation snapping. So let me click that on, and then you see different angles, 30, 45, and 90. So let me just quickly check on 45. So what does this do? So let me go to this layer which has the leaf. I'll click on the transform tool. And now if I use this handle to rotate, you can see it snaps at 45 degrees, right? And then again at 90. So before you didn't have this snapping, like you couldn't control it like where you wanted it. So now you have these options so that it's much easier to control these things, okay? Let me just undo that and let's click on done, and you have different options. So usually you can use these things to create a mandala, things like that, because when you have 30-degree snapping, it becomes really easy to create one block of design and then snap it around like 30, 30, 30, 30. Next up is guide. So if you click on this button right here, you can see that grids show up, and then you have something called spacing. So if you swipe right, this increases, and if you swipe left, it decreases. And here you can increase or decrease the opacity of your grid. By the way, when you try to export this artwork, the grid disappears, so you don't have to worry that it's going to show up in your artwork. It is definitely just a grid, a helpful thing to work with your artwork. Now let's talk about the alignment guides. What are these alignment guides? So let me just turn this off for now. Okay, so let's go to the transform tool, and now if I try to if I try to move, you see that I can move anywhere, and I don't see any guide to help me, like where's the center of the artwork, right? But if you turn the alignment guides on, and now if you use the transform tool and try to move this, you see these blue lines which tell you where the center is, the horizontal center, the vertical center. You just have everything over here, and that makes it a lot easier when you're trying to align things, especially text and stuff. That's basically it under this option, and I want the guide to go off. Okay, so the next one is the most interesting bit, that is appearances or adjustment layers. So if you used Photoshop, you know what this is about. So I'm going to go into the snail layer. Now click, and let's start off with the first one, that is brightness and contrast. So when you do that, a layer automatically appears right above the layer that you have selected. So that means that this particular changes or the layer is going to affect all the layers beneath that, and nothing above it, obviously, right? Let's just increase the brightness and contrast a little bit. So in here, you see this number, which helps you decide, like, how off you are from your original artwork. So that means if I increase it, it increases here, and, you can increase these things. And you can see this artwork, it's becoming brighter as you move this slider. A great thing about this is everything is created on a separate layer. And if you don't want this effect, let me increase this. If you don't want this effect on your artwork, you just have to click on this I button here, and it goes back to this original artwork. So it is a non-destructive edit. That means that, you're not changing anything in your artwork, so you don't have to worry about it. So let me just go back to that layer and uncheck that, because I want to show you a couple more things over here. That is the blend mode. If you click on the blend mode, you see multiply, normal, and other things as well. So you can create this new adjustment layer as a blend mode as well. It's cool, isn't it? And also, decrease or increase the opacity if you want to. Okay, so that's it about the brightness and contrast. I'm going to go ahead and hide it because we don't want it. Go back to the snail layer. Let's select the hue or saturation. My favorite part of this new update is definitely this, because I love experimenting with colors, and like everyone else, I'm not really good with color combinations as such. So this kind of helps me figure out what looks best and what doesn't. So what am I talking about? Okay, so this hue over here lets you select a range of colors, and as you see, I move the slider. This changes the entire artwork. You see that? So if I don't like a yellow background, how about this green one? How about this blue one? Or maybe orange or pink? You decide. You can get to decide. And then saturation obviously makes it more brighter. The colors are much more bright. Lightness is dark and light. So that's how you actually choose different color themes over here. But the next one here, color range, is pretty awesome too. So for example, you have this snail artwork, right? Let me keep this here. And you're happy with all the colors, but you're not exactly happy with the background that's yellow. But it's so hard to change that color because it's on the same layer as the rest of the artwork. It's a vector artwork, so you could possibly use the fill tool and it would still work because, they are all crispy lines, so they change color very easily. But if you're using pixel brushes and you don't know how to do that, this is the way to go for it. So you can just click on yellow here. Now it selects only yellow. Now if you look at it, none of the colors change except the range, which is like yellow or closer to yellow. See? This orange changes because, it's yellowish orange. But otherwise, everything else remains the same. So you can do the same thing for other colors as well. For example, the red means it's also including brown because, they all come under the same category. And there's pink, you can see that pink and purple, and they change colors as well. So that's pretty neat, isn't it? And this option here, colorize, is just another way to look at how you're changing colors. I don't think I'm going to use that much often, so you can actually adjust these things. Again, you have blend mode options here. You can always mix this layer as anything you want, actually. Maybe I'll do a separate video on how to use these blend modes with the adjustment layers. But for now, let's just, not talk too much about it. And obviously there's opacity, which you can increase or decrease. And once you're done, if you don't want this, you can always click on this hide layer. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing. This particular thing applies to only the layer below it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on blue because I want to change the color of blue here. Where is it? This blue, right? So maybe this one. Yeah, that one. So let me go ahead and change it. And you see it's changed to red right now. So it was the same color as this. Now, if I want that to be applied to this as well, all I have to do is move it here and bam, that color changes as well. So anything below this adjustment layer takes this adjustment layer settings. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it up here so that it doesn't get affected. The next option is color balance. So what's this color balance? So if you have an artwork which has shadows, highlights, midtones, which my artwork doesn't have in depth, actually, it's just a simple one. So I can't really show you a lot with it. But here there are options to choose those things. Like if you want to enhance the shadows and shadows alone, then you can actually click on that and, you can increase the yellow or blue, magenta or green, all the specific colors that you want to increase. And there's also a thing called as preserve luminosity, which I would like to get turned on because if I turn it off, look at this part here. And you see it becomes a little duller. So it's always good to turn this on, I guess. And obviously this has blend modes as well, because for every layer you have an option to create different kinds of blend modes. Okay, so the last thing left is clip, and I'm going to show you what you can do with that. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on this layer. That is the blue leaf layer that we have. Let me put it here, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into hue and saturation, and I will try to change this to something like this. I want it to be light blue, but oops, everything else has changed, which is not a good thing, right? So the other option you can do is, okay, I undid that. Okay, let me undo that. Okay, so the other option is you can click here and click on this clip so that it creates it as a clipping mask. And then you can click on hue or saturation. And now if you change the color, you see that it applies only to that particular layer. By the way, this is not too important that you use that clip option there, because if you go to the layer, for example, this one, you can always click on clipping mask and it creates a clipping mask as well. So it's not necessary. I don't know why they gave an option of a clip, because yeah, it's redundant because it's already here, unless I'm missing something. Anyway, so that's the whole reason behind clips, so that you can actually use it to create that one. Okay, so that was all about the adjustment layers, and I hope you can use it to create some really awesome stuff, because this is a super cool thing actually, and I'm so glad Fresco got it. Okay, so the next one is mask support for vectors, images and text. So if you have watched my earlier tutorials where I use this masking technique, you know that we couldn't apply mask on vector layers. We had to use a clipping mask, which by the way is still okay, but masking is really cool too. But now with this new technology, or with new option, if you have a layer, you can click on this, and now you have an option which says mask layer content. You just have to click on that and it automatically creates a mask without having to convert it into a pixel layer. So the same applies to text now, which is super cool. That is, you go to your text and click style text, increase the size. Okay, and then I want it all caps, and now I can click on mask layer contents, and now it's a completely different mask. I'm going to go ahead and slide. By the way, this is not a masking tutorial, so if you want to learn about mask, I'll probably link a couple of tutorials for you so that you can go ahead and check it out. So yeah, you can do that, and you can also make masks on images, by the way. You can always import images by clicking on this button and going to photos and importing it, and the image layer will also have mask option now, and I think that's going to be pretty helpful. The next one we have what the Fresco terms as improved tool persistence. So what this means is when you choose particular item, for example, let me just go ahead. I'm going to choose a vector brush, and imagine my vector brush is set to 20 and smoothing is set to 72. Now I go outside the artboard, and before, when I actually open up the artwork, if I go to vector brush, it wouldn't be set to the same settings. Now it's set to 20 and it's 72, although I'm in a different artwork actually. So this is the new tool persistence that they are talking about. Fresco remembers what tool you were in and what settings you were in, which is pretty helpful, I guess. Okay, so all the updates so far were for both iPad or iPhone and Windows systems, but the next two ones are particularly for Windows because iPhone or iPad already had it. So the first one is discovering brushes. That is, if you don't know how to download new brushes, by the way, you need to have a premium account for this. As far as I know, there's an option called as Plus here. So if you click on that, it gives you an option to discover new brushes. When you do that, it takes you to all these awesome, cool brushes that you can download. So this wasn't available on Windows until now, but apparently it's available now. So all those people working on Windows, go ahead and download some really awesome brushes right now. Especially, I don't know, I just love these brushes, but I don't get to use them much for these tutorials because I know that a lot of people have free version of it. So I try to use only the brushes which are available with Fresco. The next option is shapes, which is right here. And you can see if you click on that, you see all these different kinds of shapes. Ooh, they have actually added new shapes to the library, which I'm particularly surprised about, which weren't there before. This is a lettering shape. That is, if you increase this, it acts as a guide. Let me just uncheck that. So yeah, you can click on fill. Oops, let's create a new layer and click on fill, vector, and it creates a guide for you so that you can use it. I mean, that's just under shapes. So this was already available for iPad or iPhone users before, but apparently it's a new thing that's even available for Windows users now. So if you go to my library, I have a lot of shapes that I've created. By the way, if you're interested in learning how you can create your own shapes, maybe I'll do a video on that. If you want to, just leave a comment below saying that yeah, you would be interested in it, and I'll try to make a video on that, okay? So yeah, that brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you have any questions or anything you want to say about this video, don't forget to leave a comment. You can always support this channel by buying me a coffee on ko-fi.com. You can find the link to do that in the description box below. It's okay if you cannot do with money. You can always share this video with friends and family or anybody who's interested in Fresco and help my channel grow a little bit more. If you do create something with one of my tutorials, don't forget to tag me on Instagram with print me some color or think beyond color, and I'd be happy to check out what you guys create. Okay, I guess I'll see you in the next video then. Bye-bye.